Hey y'all, it's Ryan. Even though it is starting to get a little cooler and get closer and closer to officially start of fall, in Texas where we are, we don't have leaves that change colors and make it like a beautiful fall scene here. So we're going to draw that today to give off all the beautiful fall vibes. So grab your drawing tools and let's get to it. So for our really beautiful fall trees that we're going to draw, there's not going to really be a sketch. We're just going to jump right in because of the brushes that we're going to use found in Procreate. So I'm going to start with a clean layer. In my brushes, I'm going to use the dry ink brush, and my color is going to be, this really dark brown. So for the tree, I'm going to start at the top with a light pressure on my pencil and slowly add more pressure as I come down. And then I'm going to build on that tree, coming down to the other side. I'm going to connect them down at the bottom and fill. So the reason I like using the dry ink brush for trees is because if you look on the side, it gives you that really nice texture just by using this particular brush. I'm just gonna fill in this area. Okay. There we go. Now I'm going to start making the branches kind of come out. So I'm going to start about midway up. I'm going to go out to the right and just, again, start with a lot of pressure on my pen so my ink, the line is a little thicker, and then ease up on the pressure as I come out to the side. I'm going to make it a little thicker here where it connects to the tree. Okay. And then I'm going to add some more limbs coming off of this one. I'm going to come down to the bottom. And again, just like I did connecting it to the tree, I'm going to make it a little thicker here where it connects. Okay. Do another one up at the top. And you're just going to keep adding limbs and branches wherever you think it looks best. Okay, I'm also going to add them onto the left as well. And then where it connects here to the main trunk of the tree, I'm going to just round it a little bit so it's not as jagged of a line. So really try and get the twigs and the branches how you want them, because we're going to just reuse this tree trunk and the branches that we're making here for all of our trees in the drawing. Okay. And then one small one right there. All right. So there's the base of our tree. I'm going to add a new layer, make it a clipping mask, and I'm going to set this on screen. So still using the same brush, but now that I have it on screen, even though it's in the same color, it makes it a little bit lighter. And I am just going to go into the tree trunk and add in those details. Okay. Oops. I'm going to come to this yellow color as well and just add in a few of those lighter and brighter highlights as well to the tree. Okay. Make another clipping mask. Set this to multiply as well. I'm going to change my brush to the soft brush. And I'm going to go back to my dark brown. So I'm going to just add, turn that down to about 3. I'm going to add a shadow over on the right hand side of my tree. And because again I have it on multiply, it made it much darker for me, so I don't have to worry about changing any colors. And then wherever I have kind of the trees overlapping, the branches overlapping, I'll add a slight shadow there, but really focusing on this lower corner. I'm going to use my eraser on the soft brush. I'm going to turn that way down. I'm going to smooth out this edge right here, oops, on my tree. There we go. Okay, so there is the tree trunk. I'm going to go ahead and swipe to the right on all 3 of them and click group. So now they're one group together. I'm going to add a new layer within that group. It's going to be behind my tree trunk. In my brushes, I'm going to change to this snow gum brush, which can be found in your organic brush set in Procreate's library. The first color leaves I'm going to add is going to be this, it's a red-orange to the back, and I'm going to set my brush size at 14. And because this is my first layer, I want it to fill up the whole tree, and then I'm going to layer in other colors of leaves within. I'm going to bump that brush size up a little bit as well, just to get some different size leaves going in here on the outside. Okay, so once you have your leaves how you like them, come in and add a new layer to the top of your tree group. So it's going to sit on top of your branches. For these leaves, I'm going to go with a darker red. Still using that snow gum brush, I'm going to bump the size up to 25. And this, I'm going to be a little bit more deliberate on where I'm putting these leaves. They're going to go more on the branches themselves. So they're just kind of blending in. Okay. Add a new layer on top. And the last color is going to be this golden yellow. And this is going to go more in between where I had those reds coming in. This is more just a filler. And within that layer, we can even turn the opacity down just a little bit so they're a little bit more faded. So let's go with 80%. Okay. So there we have our first fall tree, and because they're all in one group, I can select that whole group. I'm gonna resize, oops. Okay, uniform. Uh-oh. Okay, this one is not in the group. Let me throw it up at the top. And now move it down. There we go. Now I should have all of my layers in one group. That worked. Okay, now I can use my select tool and resize my tree and move it up just a little bit. This also allows me to swipe to the right and click duplicate. And here I have my second tree. Now I'm going to adjust the colors in this tree so that they're just slightly different. So this first layer, I'm going to change my color to this brighter orange. Click that layer and click select, so it automatically changed it for me. Then I come up to my dark red layer and choose this lighter orange color. Tap on it, click select, so it changes it for me. And then last one is the yellow. I'm gonna go with this deep golden color. Tap the layer and click select. So I'm gonna put this tree behind my first one. I'm gonna resize it just a little bit. Change it to freeform. I'm gonna make it a little skinnier. There we go. All right. So now that I have my two trees, I'm going to use the tree trunk base that I started with to create more trees in the background. So within this group, I'm going to merge all of my tree layers together, swipe to the left and click duplicate, and I'm going to hold and pull that layer out of the group. So now I can select it, resize it, and move it to the background. So this layer will go below all of my groups so that it's in the background. I'll do that again. And then one more time. So I have one back here in the middle. Okay. So the next piece I'm going to add is going to be the hill that's the trees are sitting behind, or that they're sitting on. So all of this is going to be, all of these small trunks are going to be covered back here. So I'm going to create a new layer. And in my color palette, I'm gonna go with this sandy color for now, and then we'll see how that looks and we'll adjust. So going back to my dry ink brush, going to start off to the left and just go up and then circle back around. So it doesn't have to be a perfect straight line, so I don't have to worry about holding my hand steady when drawing this. Let's see if I actually closed it all. Nope. Go. Got it that time. Okay. Make sure all of that is filled in. And you can see this tree trunk is floating, so I'm actually going to add a secondary hill where that one's going to be sitting on. So that layer needs to be on top of this tree, but I want it to be behind my other trees. Let's see here. I'm gonna make it darker as well because it's in the background. Okay, so this needs to go behind these. And let me find, okay, I'll move it behind those. Nope. Okay, let's leave that one back there too. All right, I'm liking how this is looking. And come back to this layer and make this not as sharp of a hill as I had it. Same on this side. Okay. All right, so now I'm actually going to swipe to my right on all of my groups and layers so I can select them all at once and move them up. Resize just a little bit. So that way I have room for my path down here at the bottom. I'm going to add a new layer underneath everything. In my brushes, I'm going to select this fresco brush. I'm going to come back to this sandy color. Make my brush size 10. So because it's going to be behind everything, I can start by drawing behind my hills and then come out a little bit and making my sides jagged because it is a natural path that I'm trying to kind of make the look of. And the reason I like using the fresco brush is because it gives it a really fun texture to it without really trying, just like using the dry ink brush for the tree bark. Has a nice texture. Okay. So I'm going to use my eraser to erase what I did back here. And back here. Okay. Add a new layer, make that a clipping mask, and then I'm going to select this darker gold yellow again. I'm going to go with the clay brush. I'm going to bump the size up to 20. I'm going to lightly go over that path that I created with the fresco using clay so that it gives it that nice texture, but I still have that water look on the edges. I'm going to make it darker in some areas. Okay. Add a new clipping mask. And this time I'm going to use the flicks. I'm going to take it to this darker gray. I'm going to keep the brush size around 15 or 16, and I'm just going to tap on my path just to kind of add in what would be like gravel and rocks. Okay, I'm going to make him a little darker. Have them more around the edges, because around the edge of like a road or a path is where you're going to see most of your gravel and your rocks. I'll bump that brush size up to 30, and again, add them just kind of anywhere and everywhere within that road. Okay. The last piece I'm going to add is going to be to the hills, and it's going to be just little blades of grass. So I'm going to come back to my gold yellow, that lighter yellow. I'm going to switch back to dry ink, and I am just going to, make sure I'm on top of that layer, and I am just going to add in just little groups of grass here and there to really round out the picture. Okay, last couple of things. I'm going to change my background color to this. It's an off-white, very, very light yellow. Then within my layers, the very last layer, I'm going to change my brush to the soft airbrush and bump the size up to 20. I'm going to make this a little lighter, brighter yellow. And I am just going to add kind of that sun look in the background. Come up to my adjustments, give it a slight blur up to 5. And there we have our fall trees. Thank you so much for drawing with me today. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel and click the bell so you're notified when new videos are posted. Hope to see you soon.